Hello and welcome to Autoharp at the Altar. I am Bay Allen, and I'm going to be showing you today about learning by the numbers. So I've had some people ask me about how to make sense of the way that I teach, and so I figured I would just do a quick video. The way that I teach is very similar to the Nashville number system, but if you know your major scale, which is a whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. That's called the Ionian mode. Okay, there are many different modes, but I just want to focus on this one. This is what you would call the major scale, the way that we're used to hearing it. And so what we need to think about is all of our chords in relation to the major scale. So if we are in the key of A, or 1, let's do this, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I hope this will help. 1 is always itself, so it's a major. 2 is a minor. 3 is a minor. 4 is a perfect or a major. 5, the same, it's a major. 6 is a minor. And 7 is what you call diminished. And so you just put a little circle on there for that. So in the key of A, you would have A as your 1. The 2 minor would be a B minor. The 3 minor would be a C sharp minor. The 4 would be a D. The 5 chord would be an E major. The 6 minor would be F sharp minor, and then the diminish, okay, that one's, I'm putting an arrow there because most people don't have diminished on their auto harps, but that would be a G sharp diminished, okay? So in the key of B, if you just follow the same formula, you would have a B major, C sharp minor, D sharp minor, an E major, an F sharp major, a G sharp minor, and an A sharp diminished. These are diminished 7 chords if you need that 7. So then we move into C. And so our C would be a C for the 1, obviously, a D minor, an E minor, an F major, a G major, an A minor, and a B diminished 7 chord. In the key of D, just moving right along, it would be a D, an E minor for your 2 minor, F sharp minor for your 3 minor, a G major, an A major, a B minor, and a C sharp diminished 7 chord. And then moving on into the key of E, your 1 chord would be an E, your 2 minor would be an F sharp minor, your 3 minor would be a G sharp minor, 4 major would be an A, 5 major would be a B, 6 minor would be a C sharp minor, and then your diminished for this one, your diminished 7 would be a D sharp diminish. Moving right along, key of F, it would be an F for your 1, G minor for your 2, A minor for your 3, a B flat major for your 4, a C major for your 5, a D minor for your 6, and an E diminished 7 chord for your 7th. And then G, I think you see where this is going, would be a G, and then an A minor for your 2 minor, a B minor for your 3 minor, a C for your 4 major, D for your 5 major, an E minor for your 6 minor, and an F sharp diminished 7 for your 7th chord. So that's most of the keys you're going to be dealing with on an auto harp, other than B flat, which you could just simply go back here and fill in with your B flat. Now the way that I play, again, I go by the Ionian mode. So say for instance you're playing in the key of C, and instead of an A minor you have an A major. I would write that as a 6 with no M next to it. Okay? That would show that it's the major derivative of that. Even though the 6 minor is what would fall in the Ionian mode, it's stepping outside of that. So if you see something like that, where it's a 6 major, for instance, that would be, or even a 2 major, those are common, especially in older music and in a lot of hymns. You'll see that it's going outside of the diatonic. So if you play on a diatonic instrument instead of a chromatic instrument, you may have to get creative with how you play that. Another thing to take note of is your diminished chords. There's technically only 3 variations of a diminished chord. Again, most auto harps, they've done away with the diminished chords, but they come up in hymns if you want to specialize or customize your harp to have them. The one you actually would probably get the most real estate out of on these keys, because you play a lot in the key of F. So if you were to do an E diminish 7 chord, here I'll put a square next to it just to show, that would be the same as a C sharp diminish 7, and it would also be the same as an A sharp diminish 7. So you get a lot of real estate out of just one diminished chord you can use for all 3 of those keys, okay? This is just some theory in a nutshell. For instance, in the key of G, if you have an F sharp, and I'll use a triangle for this, an F sharp 7 diminish, come up to the D sharp 7 diminish, is shared. It's the same notes. That only leaves us 2 more, so guess what? I'll put a little star on those. These are shared diminished chords. So you only need to ever give yourself 3 diminished chords, or you're wasting a bar, because you're giving yourself the same notes. But figure out which one out of your repertoire you use the most and plug it in. They can add a lot of flavor to what you're playing. I generally don't teach with diminished because most people don't have them. However, I do use diminished chords on my auto harp. Anyway, I hope that this tutorial is helpful for you. This is learning by the numbers, and so I hope that this will help you make a little more sense, perhaps, out of some of the teachings on the YouTube channel and on the Facebook group. And if you have any questions, please go ahead and join us on the Facebook group, and just post any questions that you have over there. And I would love to interact with you and help you understand this a little more. Because the concept is if you have an auto harp that's set up right in rows of 3, this is just a quick drawing, but you would have 1 button, 2 button, 3, you know what I mean? That from key to key, your home base would be the same, so your fingerings would be the same, like a 1 chord, a minor, a 7 derivative, something like that. And so you know your 4 and your 5s are on the other side of it, and that would be the same, for instance, if you were here. Your 1, 5, 4s are always the same. So it's important to find an auto harp system where these are the same, if that makes sense. Again, I would love to chat with you more on the Facebook group. And so this is Bay Allen from Auto Harp at the Altar, and I hope that this learning by the numbers is beneficial to you. God bless, and I'll see you next week.